Find the center and the radius of the circle, whose equation is given by 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 4x plus 8y is equal to 11. Now this isn't the normal form for the equation of a circle, but the idea to get it to be in that form is complete the square. So the first thing we have to do is notice that we complete the square with these two x terms and then these two y terms. But the leading coefficient in both those cases is 4. And for complete the square, we need a coefficient of positive 1. So we need the coefficients of x squared and y squared to be positive 1. So the easiest way to do that is I'm going to take the entire equation and divide every single term by 4. So dividing 4x squared by 4 is just going to give us x squared. And we get y squared minus x plus 2y is equal to 11 over 4. Remember, we have to divide both sides of the equation by the same thing and every single term by the same thing. So now that everything's divided by 4, we're in a position where we can start completing the square. So I want to group my terms together so that they make a little bit more sense. So I want x squared minus x over on the left side, and then I want to have y squared plus 2y on the right is equal to 11 over 4. Now I didn't do anything, I just arranged the terms, and I left big spaces here because I know that I'm going to be adding something in since I'm completing the square. So let's complete the square. For the x's, remember we take the coefficient of x, divide by 2, and then square it. So 1/2 squared is going to be 1 over 4. So we want to add a 1 over 4 to the left, and then a 1 over 4 to the right side of the equation since we want to balance them out. And then for the y's, we have the coefficient of y divided by 2 squared, which is going to be 1 squared, which is just 1. So again, we want to add a 1 to both sides of the equation. So now I'm going to rewrite what we've got, and I'm going to keep these parentheses here, even though I'm just adding together, because it'll help organize our thoughts a little bit. Then on the left side we get, well, 11 over 4 plus 1 over 4 is going to be 12 over 4, which is equal to 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we're going to get 4 on the right side. And now notice that these factor into perfect square, these are perfect square trinomials which factor, right? So this is going to be x minus 1/2 squared, and this is going to be y plus 1 squared. And if you don't believe me, you can always check. So let's say x minus 1/2 squared, if you feel like checking that. That's x minus 1/2 times x minus 1/2, so that's x squared minus 1/2 x minus 1/2 x plus 1 over 4. And so that's x squared minus x plus 1 over 4. If you're never 100% sure of your factorization, you should always check. So this checked out. So replacing what we came up with, great. So now we have something that looks like the equation for a circle, which is what? X minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. right? We're just missing a couple things. We need to make this positive 1 we have to put a negative in there, and this 4 needs to be in the form r squared. So let's do those last steps. So x minus a half squared plus y, we can write this as y minus negative 1 squared, right, is equal to 2 squared, which is 4. And so now we see that this is in the form x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared, where the center is given by a comma b. In this case, that's a half comma negative 1. And the radius here is 2. So rewriting our results, our center, the center of our circle is at a half comma negative 1. And the radius of our circle is equal to 2.